And welcome back, everyone, all the listeners, wherever you may be. This is DNA's The Dosage podcast, and you're listening on one of the many platforms we're featured on. Some of those may be Apple, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, and so many more. Let us know in comments wherever you're at, where you're listening, and what you think of the show. Give us a little review, too. That'll help us out to stand out if you like what you're hearing. I am Travis, part of the Dosage podcast, joined again with Caleb and Rob.
Yeah.
Yo.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. It's been a minute.
Yeah, just a smidge.
I feel like the world's changed since the last time we did one of these.
Just a smidge.
It absolutely has.
So the fortunate part about the podcast that we've been doing now, and again, this is episode 108, we can all be in isolation, in quarantine. 100-bit donation from Redbeard. You can join us live on twitch.tv/doseofnerdacumen while we record these, just like Redbeard did. Thank you again for the cheers. We really appreciate it. For those watching us live while we record it, or if you want to check out our video, you can go to youtube.com/doseofnerdacumen. And today, for the visual, we have Animal Crossing. You guys like that game?
It's okay.
Oh, I thought I could wave. Awkward.
He jumps out of his chair. Caleb, you got quite the tan.
Well, see, in most of my video games, I like to not look like myself, so I always go for like a multicultural character.
I mean, nothing wrong with that. It was rather, I didn't know who you were when you came in through the airport. But then I saw the shirt you were wearing, and I knew who you were.
Yeah, rock. Oh, absolutely, rocking that. Yeah, I like to make my custom stuff, so I missed out on baseball season this year, so I rocked some custom baseball gear representing my high school team that I coach.
Yeah, how is that? Obviously, it's not going for you, but how are you handling all that? Because for me, not much has changed, right? But for a lot of people out there, they're giving up so many things that they look forward to. How has that affected you?
Yeah, so it's rough. So not to start the podcast off on too dark of a note, but as everything was happening with the quarantine and the staying at home, I was going through a couple things. One was baseball tryouts for our high school team. This would have been my third year coaching, and also at the same time I lost a family member, a very close one. So I was out of work already because of that, and kind of discombobulated. And then the stay-at-home order came in, and it all just kind of wiped everything out. And so it's weird because I've been in this notion of just kind of not doing much anyways, going through my emotions, and then this hit. So it doesn't quite feel like things have changed. It just feels like a really extended spring break. But now that baseball is officially over, there's nothing I can do other than fingers crossed that before summer's over, we're allowed to leave and hang out again, that I can try and get my boys together and at least play some Sandlot or something. I think that, it's starting to mentally hit me. It's a bit of a loss that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely strange. I think the biggest thing that's affecting my family is the inability to see each other in person. So for my kids to be deprived from visiting their grandparents, I know that's been tough for my oldest. And then I actually have a niece expected within the next probably 30 to 40 days. And if we're on lockdown, how long is it going to be till I see my new niece? So that I think is the most difficult part for me. Other than that, not much has changed. I have an amazing company I work for that's allowed me to work from home. So financially, I'm still very stable, but I know it's affecting so many people out there. And if you're listening right now and you're affected, I wish you all the best, and hopefully this works out for you guys that are listening. And if you need a place to escape to, DNA's, I think of it as a great community. Hopefully we can help each other out in some way. And if you need a place, let us know. We're here to talk at you. That's right now, hopefully, something we can offer. And it's free, so that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Rob, care to share? Or?
I mean, I got the combination fortunate / unfortunate distinction of being an essential worker during this time. So, by and large, things really haven't changed all that much for me personally. So yeah, I don't know. It's a lot more stressful because I still do have to go out of the house, but you know, I know a lot of people are extremely displaced during this, vastly different schedules than they're used to, not being able to go places. You know, it's been a major shift for a lot of people, and you know, like you said, Travis, I really hope that we're able to provide sort of more effective community in this time. As you said, I do feel as well that we have a really great community with us, and it's been a lot of fun in the whole time we've done this to, you know, hang out and get to know these people. But now more than ever, I'm really hopeful that we're able to provide them some sort of extra connection to kind of remind everybody we're in this together, you know?
Yeah, and escape, you know, the realities out there. It's one of the things that we've often offered since the beginning of DNA, was just a place to escape, provide that thing that people were missing for so long, and that was, you know, a bunch of friends getting together and playing games on a couch. You know, that we talked many times. That was such a highlight of our younger years that's missing now, and we wanted to kind of bring that back, not only for ourselves, but just anyone out there that found it interesting or fun and just wanted to be a part of something. And for the past almost 3 years now, you know, since you've joined, I think we've offered that. We'll continue to do so, offering hopefully some intriguing and engaging content. And our theme tonight is us judging things. And again, with a ranked list. Instead of a top 10, today we have a top 5, but 2 top 5 lists. We're going to kick things off with our favorite controllers, our top 5 video game controllers of all time. Personally, for any of us, it could be judged on how they look, how they feel, how they play, how they hold up. Really, there was no limit on how you're judging it. And the second part of our show today is going to be, we are doing what we were told not to do, judging a book by its cover. And we're talking about system aesthetics. We're talking about the look of a video game console. Judging it purely by its looks and not how it performs or what it plays or what exclusives on it. None of that matters. We're just going to talk about, does it look cool? Does it look good? Is it sexy?
Oh, easy now.
Oof, getting edgy here. And we got a little visitor. We do have a photo by me. I believe that's Cody, one of the villagers on my island here. So if you want to be friends with any of us...
Before we all log off, you guys...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, before we log off, you guys got to come to my island just for a minute to meet the first villager I got to move in from Mystery Island. His name is Stitches.
Oh, boy.
And he is awesome.
Nice. Yeah, I would. I'd be down if you guys wanted to check out my island too. I have some. I think I have a unique taste. So I put a unique taste in design.
Yeah, for sure. And if anyone's interested, we talked before this game launched to making a series out of shenanigans that we may do with this game. So if you're interested out there and you're watching this video, let us know. Let's kick things off.
I'm assuming.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, I'm assuming most people are interested, so...
Hey, who knows? Either way, we might just do it anyways, guys.
We do that a lot. Do you guys want to see this? Nobody answered. We're doing it anyway.
We find it fun. That's all that matters.
Yeah. So
we're going to kick things off with the controllers. Anyone want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take a jab at this one.
All right.
These lists for me, I consider myself a very aesthetic guy. Like I like the way things looks, and I get them just for those reasons alone, even when I don't need one. Specifically controllers. So I have a hard time ranking these as far as like top 5. This is my best order that I can come up with, and it's gonna start back a long time ago, when I can still remember when they made controllers that had air fans that blew on your air hands. I think it was called the Airflow controller for the Xbox 360, I believe.
Okay. I do remember those.
And I don't know why. I didn't have my own 360. I just played on my brother's. But we'd always fight over, I don't know if Mad Catz made that one or like Nyko, or I can't remember exactly, but I think it was called the Airflow controller. And it just had, in the handles, it had little fans, and it would jut the air out and and kind of unsweat your hands or attempt to. And I just really, really liked that controller.
Is Mad Catz still a company? Didn't they go out of business?
They did, but as far as I know, they got resurrected.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they just do like converters now, or like mostly like, I don't even know if they make controllers.
Because I want to say it was around the time that the latest Rock Band or Guitar Hero came out. Was they did I believe? Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyone listening or you guys? I believe they worked on the peripherals for the last Rock Band or Guitar Hero, and then they went under.
Gotcha. It looks like now they're at least making like keyboard and mice, if it's the same company.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they're still around. They're just now they're called. They were called Mad Catz Interactive. Now they're just called Mad Catz.
Interesting.
They changed their name back in 2017. I'm guessing that's when they changed their approach to what they're going to do.
Never a fan of Mad Catz controllers, just like the boring regular ones. Yeah, like I remember. I don't remember why, but I remember like my parents. They're like, "All right, we're going to the store shopping for presents. What do you need?" I think me and my brother were like, "Hey, pick up another controller," and they grabbed a Mad Catz one. We were like so mad at them, but they had no idea why. I don't know. That's just a memory that sticks in my head.
So I looked it up while you were talking about it, Caleb, and it looks like Nyko did one called the Intercooler, and Power A does one called the Airflow. So there were actually a couple of different ones.
I feel like it was
depending
the
on,
intercooler
you had.
Wasn't the intercooler the thing that attached to the back of the 360 as well?
That was also what that thing was called, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that thing had I believe, a small reputation for overheating.
just a smidge. No big. But I do distinctly remember Mad Catz making one too. I just can't find it at the moment.
I thought
I'm with you on that. I'm 100% sure.
But the picture didn't look like what I remembered. So I think we also maybe had a Mad Catz GameCube controller too, but I don't think it shot air. So I don't know, somewhere in the middle there. But that's my number 5.
Smalls mentioned Mad Catz controllers are what you give to little kids so they don't break your good shit.
Yes.
Yeah, she is not wrong there. Oh, and then Redbeard said, I mean that bass, though. I assume he's talking about the bass guitar that Mad Catz made for Rock Band. That thing was actually pretty badass.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I still have ours somewhere, I think. Oh, we have both, says the wife. Huh. I don't know. We'll come back to that later, sorry. So I guess I'll go next then?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright, so I gotta make sure that I'm reading these in the right order that I mean them in. My number 5 was the Xbox One Phantom Black Edition.
Right, let's start looking these up.
For as much of a hard time as I like to give Travis, and for as legitimately PS4 over Xbox One as I actually am this generation, I do have to say that the Xbox One controllers, aside from the ridiculous AA battery thing they're carrying over into the Series X, is actually a really, really nice controller. I have the option of using my Switch Pro controller, my PS4 DualShock 4, my Xbox One controller. I've got a ton of USB controllers. My go-to on my PC is still a red Xbox One controller that I bought specifically for that reason. So that's my number 5. My first pick was the Xbox One Phantom Black because I absolutely love that color scheme on that controller. I think it's just super cool looking.
Yeah, it looks pretty sweet. The way I describe it, it looks like it starts from a silverish and fades up into a clear black at the top.
Yeah. It actually reminds me a lot of the paint job on the Project Scorpio Edition Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty console.
Wow. Comics say it is a pretty console. I'm glad I bought it to go along with being
Do you want to read
Scorpio.
off what Comics said? I just caught that in chat too.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw this out here real quick. Comics said he knows it's totally off topic, but he wants to know if we just heard that hashtag Free Joe Exotic is trending on Twitter because the president is apparently going to take a look at his case. I don't know if you guys have watched The Tiger King. I have not.
I have not.
But I have not heard anything that makes me want to.
No.
But I have heard that the dude is absolutely bananas and probably definitely deserves to be in jail. Although I say that obviously from a place of, uninformed judgment. So I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but that's
I just sometimes I go on social media and I just wonder like, where am I? You know, like the things that trend sometimes and just how they explode. It's incredible for one. But no, I haven't dove into the latest thing that's trending, nor do I, for this particular thing, have any interest, to be honest.
No, I feel like I've gotten enough info from the show just from social media to get the enjoyment that I would have gotten anyways.
Right.
Okay. Crazy. Yeah, it's a ridiculous situation. He looks weird. Boom. I'm caught up.
Yeah.
Apparently, my youngest son thought I said hashtag free Sonic from jail.
Why would Sonic be in jail?
He broke the speed limit.
Speaking of, did you guys get a chance to see them? I know we're going way off topic here, but did you guys see it?
Yeah, we
I
actually took
really
Alex to see it in the theater.
Really
Okay.
enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really good.
I'm thinking maybe that
Did
should
you?
be a future. I did, yeah. I think that should be maybe a future episode where we just dive into a review of that, if you guys are okay with it, since it's video game
I'm-
and film.
Yeah, I'm
I'm-
totally on board with that.
There you go, sneak peek, future episode coming soon. Just made up on the spot.
Whether you
'Cause
ask
that's-
for it or not, here it comes.
That's how we do things here. So we'll jot that in those. Going back onto the rails, though.
Yes. Travis, what's your number 5, buddy?
So I'm going to be considerably more boring, I feel, tonight than you guys. For both controllers and systems, I did not pick anything that wasn't stock.
Okay. I think that's
Really?
fair. I had some stock options, but then I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a little dicey and go away.
Thanks for the host, comics. I just want to critique bare bones stock, what came, as default, if you will. Because designs, can be printed, color schemes can be printed on top and made slightly more appealing. But for me, it's that initial, first glance, the recognizable either form factor or anything about it, like that controller. Why did I enjoy it? To kick off my list, I'm going to go with the Switch Pro controller. The biggest reason for that, it copies the design of another successful controller in my list. And the Switch Pro controller is a lot better than the Wii U Pro controller. It adds more weight to it. It doesn't feel like a toy. And I like the
agree.
design and grip a lot better than the Wii U Pro controller. And it holds a fantastic charge. It's chargeable. So that scores major points for me as well. The one I really want, I believe Locke has, if I was going to talk about an aesthetic design, and that is the Smash Brothers one. I believe you have that, Locke.
I might.
Yeah. But I have just the base stock one, and honestly, it's a fantastic controller, and I use it more than the Joy-Con grip. Because personally, it doesn't have, the Joy-Cons don't have a D-pad, and you need a D-pad.
Yeah, I recently I went out shopping, and I've been wanting a Switch Pro controller. I have a couple of off-brand Pro style controllers, but they don't have vibration.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
Really wanted the vibration, so I found another one. I found a PDP that, in the picture, had what looked like gyrating modules in the handles. I'm like, boom, that's perfect. A little bit cheaper. Looks like it's good condition. Looks like a nice controller. I get it out. And while, yes, there are things in the handles, they are not connected to the main board at all. I think they're weights. But the controller, it turns out, it's a clear controller, has lights and stuff, which I don't really use, but a little upset that I did this to get some vibration and didn't get any.
Yeah, that's frustrating. I generally research that. I bought a second controller for the Switch recently with the Animal Crossing release. I bought one of the Power A Animal Crossing design ones. Just I was very excited for this game. And I wanted another controller, and I thought it'd be fun for not only my wife, but my oldest son, for him to feel like he has his own controller that he can use. I don't believe that has vibrating in it, and it's not chargeable. It's AA. So those are the.
I think I have this.
It was affordable. It was like $24.99 or something.
Absolutely, a great
That's
deal.
not bad.
No, so I'm not mad about it at all. But Caleb, what you got for number 4?
Number 4, a controller that I did not have. I think the rest of them I may or may not have had. Doesn't matter. The next controller for me was the Fallout Xbox One controller, or the Fallout PS4 Xbox One controller. The blue with the kind of yellow trim. Just a really clean fan of that clean look. Anybody familiar with that controller?
No, I'm trying to get a visual. I'm going to look it up, though.
You talking about the one that's got Pip-Boy on the right side there?
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right on.
If you search for it, you'll see tons of like handmade ones, but the one that you could buy was just like almost all blue, yellow on the D-pad, yellow up by the Xbox button and the shoulder buttons, and then Pip-Boy on the right handle. But for me, just really like if Best Buy designed their own controller, it would kind of look like this. Pip-Boy off.
Totally would.
I don't know. I just really like the clean style of this one. There's not too much going on. Pip-Boy's covered up when you're playing most of the time, anyways. And yeah, I don't know. I just like the clean aesthetics of it.
Yeah, no, I like that blue. That's a nice looking controller. I'm not mad about that at all.
There you go.
Yeah, it's pretty slick.
All right, I think we got Raw. What's next?
My next pick was the PlayStation 4 20th Anniversary Edition DualShock 4.
Yes.
That's the
I do mean
silver
Vault
gray
Boy,
one,
sorry.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Same gray as the PS1.
Yeah. Is that 25 years now? Not 20?
Oh, that's hurtful. I don't know why you had to go there.
Hey, listen!
Hey, Batman, thanks for the host.
But yeah, I mean, it's speaking of just, very clean aesthetic, it's basically just the regular color scheme from the original DualShock. Obviously, the touchpad is black as normal, but the PlayStation button has the classic PlayStation logo right down to the red, yellow, and was it green, if I remember correctly?
Yeah.
Blue and green. I guess it's both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a very simple throwback to the original design. I just really appreciated that they didn't go bananas with that whole setup, to be honest with you, because it's very easy to go overboard in calling stuff out. Like the Days of Play system had all kinds of stuff on top and bottom of the console itself, and the controller also did. It had a bunch of stuff on the touchpad. It had an extra pattern on the back, and I was just like, pump the brakes a little bit, guys, come on. But I just appreciated that there's like, hey, remember the PlayStation? Pepperidge Farm remembers.
That's one of my favorite dynamic themes, was the 20th anniversary theme.
Oh, that is a really cool one. I'm glad I was able to snag it.
Yes, I think I have that theme still. Is what I'm using.
I switched over to Persona.
Yeah, I liked the controller because when friends would come over, they wouldn't necessarily know. It was just like a gray controller to them, but like in my head, I'm like, I know that gray color. Like I know specifically what that gray is, and it means something to me. And that's why I also liked that one.
Yeah, it is a gray that I feel wasn't used a lot, so it does, oddly, as a very generic shade, stand out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a visitor. Right. We have Kat. She came and said hello. All right, who was it? Me?
Yeah. What you got?
So for number 4, for me, this controller just means so much historically, and I recently picked up a wireless one for my Switch. Again, it's just got great form factor. That controller holds so many memories, and it's not like it's just a ground-breaking controller, but the SNES, so the SNES controller. He reacted to it.
I don't know.
I had it loaded.
I'd call that groundbreaking. I mean, for at the time, and look at how that design has persisted.
That's true. The way the axis of the controllers are tilted, they're not. What am I trying to describe here? The buttons, A, B, X, Y. Still to this day, that stays a standard. Besides the GameCube and the Wii, but those are very unique things in themselves.
Well, the N64 was a little bit on the weird side too.
Yeah, But we're back now, and even the PlayStation and Xbox use that placement on those buttons on the right side, and even the R1, L1, the bumpers, if you will, those have become a standard, and those were, I don't know if necessarily introduced on the Super Nintendo. I'd have to brush up on a little history there, but definitely one of the first ones to go mainstream with the use of that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, so I think something we've talked about on the podcast a decent amount is just, how things from the past affect designs and features and future designs. And I think that there's, you can't look at that and say that it doesn't look similar. You can't, there's no way of denouncing the truth that parts of that controller live to this day and will live probably for the rest of forever. Oh
yeah, and they influence each other. Take for example, and it's very coincidental timing that we're doing this particular topic. This was not intentional, but this week they actually unveiled the DualSense controller for the PlayStation 5. The shape and form factor of that seems to be taking a lot from the Xbox One and other controllers like the Switch Pro controller. It's not as wide. It's not a boomerang, if you will.
Thank God.
Right. And I'm not mad.
Round. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people...
I actually...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and I yell like crazy. I was just going to say, like, a lot of people will acknowledge that the controllers they like, and even people that game on PC, are going to be using Xbox One controllers because it just has a better feel for certain games. Like, personally, I prefer shooters with an Xbox controller over a PlayStation 4 controller. I do not like
I would agree.
L2, R2 for triggers at all. And I know you can, on some games, switch that, but I think really PlayStation or Sony was really intelligent on changing their design and introducing this DualSense. I think that's very smart. It makes me very excited, too, for the console.
I will say I'm personally a little bit sad to see the kind of, stock standard kind of look of the DualShock go away, just because, I don't know, it's held a special place in my heart. It's been my main console that I've rocked probably for the longest is PlayStation's. And so I think the iconic design of the rounded off things, the circular kind of top-down looking at it view is obviously starting to fade away. I have no doubt that the controller is going to be great. I think it's going to be very comfortable, but for whatever reason, I think aesthetically, I'll still miss the old look.
Yeah, change is inevitable. It's one of those things I'm glad they're evolving, especially after 25 years. So,
just gotta grind that in there, don't you?
I mean, it's true. Anyway, Caleb, what you got for number 3?
All right, number 3. Reaching way back into the closet for this one. Technically a controller, yes. The NES light gun.
Oh, the zapper.
Oh.
Yeah. Man, I have pulled that trigger so many times in my life. Still to this day, don't really understand how it works. It doesn't make sense. But man, just such a cool thing and a fun thing to be doing as a young one, just trying to shoot those ducks as fast as possible, or the skeet shooting. Just man, such a cool thing. And I feel like we've seen other iterations of it, with not light gun and with wireless versions, and with the Wii, obviously they did a lot of kind of gun-like things with holsters. But for me, still nothing was as fun and as interactive as that really springy trigger and that noise it would make when you squeezed it.
That click.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the NES light gun.
Yeah, no, that was a great design. And there were other ones out there that existed with that one, especially with Duck Hunt and some of the other. What was it, Hogan Alley? I think it was another one. But man, the biggest letdown is that it will not work on TVs now because it's not glass. It doesn't bounce the light correctly.
Correct.
So you can't even use it unless you have a CRT.
There are some technologies out there that will let it be used.
There's some mods for them,
which is cool. And I think that as those gain more popularity and kind of retro gaming on newer screens becomes more mainstream, I think that you'll learn about those more. But yeah, you can do some digging. There's some stuff revealed in the last like CESs, I think, or was it like E3s? I can't remember. But there's a couple things revealed from a few different companies that are trying to make this a viable option.
I mean, that'd be great. I don't even know. Well, nope, I have mine still. It's actually sitting on my shelf a few feet from me. I don't have an NES, though. I just have the gun for whatever reason.
Okay, so first of all, I might have to dig out and give you one of my spares. Sarah will be happy for me to get rid of one, I'm sure.
I would cry because I have a stack of NES games, and I've been looking for an NES for a long time.
I can't speak to the functionality of any of my spares, so don't get your hopes up too high.
I know how to do
my
repair work on.
Famicom straight up died on me.
Oh,
I only ever got to use it one time.
Do you have any Famicom games?
Somebody gave me the Famicom in a shoebox. Console, cords, and like 6 games.
Quick
For
shout
how
out.
much?
Sorry, shout out to Wicked. Hip hip hooray, thank you for the donation.
Thank you so much. For the low price of, I know you collect this stuff here, buy.
Nice. I love that price.
Yeah, no, I was at work at a retailer that I try not to say the name of.
Come on, we all know.
We do all know.
Game Go.
It's like Voldemort. Yeah. but no, so I was at work, and it was a regular at the time when I worked there. The guy had been a regular, and he came in one day, and I was like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" And he was like, "Hey, I'm moving," and I was packing up some stuff, and calm down, Crash.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. But he was like, and I found this stuff, and I can't take it with me, and I thought you would appreciate it, so here you go. And as he was saying all that, which he said in a pretty big rush, I heard him put something down on the counter. And I say heard because I had to bend down to pick something up, like I dropped something, or there was a stack of games I was putting some labels with. I don't remember why, but I distinctly remember being ducked down behind the counter for some reason. By the time I stood up, the guy was already at the door, and he was like, "Take care, man, see you later." And I was like, "Bye." And then I looked at what he put down, and it was just a shoebox, and I opened it up, and it's an original Japanese Super Famicom with all the parts and just a stack of games. I was like, "Holy shit, are you serious right now?"
Yeah, that's crazy.
He just bailed, like, before I could even say thank you. It was bananas.
Did you ask him if he dropped you?
I would have. Okay, so before I get to my next one on my list, I actually have 2 questions. Shit, I only remember one question.
Okay.
No, 2 questions. I remember the second question. Caleb,
Yes.
when you're talking about the Zapper light gun, which one are you talking about?
Oh yeah, let me pull it up. I'm pretty sure mine was the orange barrel.
Because there's the gray one, too.
Yeah, the orange one is my personal favorite. That for some reason a lot of people didn't believe existed for a long time when I first started working at GameStop. I mean, that place, I don't say. They were all like, "It's gray," and I'm like, "I promise you there was an orange one. I have it." And it was the same argument people have about saving Aerith in Final Fantasy, where they're like, "Yeah, I'm sure you could do that too." And I'm like, "Okay, no, that's bullshit, but the gun is real." And I do still have mine.
Pretty sure I had the orange one.
Yeah, the orange one is dope. The gray one was cool too, but the orange one was the superior one in my opinion.
These weren't necessarily ours. They would have been hand-me-downs. This was, slightly prior to my time. As the story goes, my parents actually got this NES as a wedding gift, and I'm like so jealous because why didn't I think to ask for video games as a wedding gift? I'm sure my wife wouldn't have let me, but seems like a very cool thing, and I was glad to be able to play a family heirloom, I guess.
So that is awesome. My Atari was actually a hand-me-down in the same way. It was my grandmother's system originally, and she gave it to me when I was right around my youngest son's age, actually. Unfortunately, that did not survive all of the moves I had all over the place. That is gone, and it makes me sad all the time. But so my second question, and then we can move on. Redbeard actually preempted me a little bit in the chat. Was, do you guys remember Captain N and the Game Masters?
Yes, I have actual a Nintendo adventure. I'll have to post a picture on our Instagram of it. But part of the comics, it's a variety of comics, but one of them is Captain N in this. I'll post a picture on our Instagram.
No, I did not know it. We had whatever games they had at the time, which was just Mario 3, Super Mario 3, Duck Hunt, and I think that may have been it for the NES. And we never got any more because they weren't really for sale around, or we didn't have money because we were just 5 and 6, and so this is all I had.
Well, so Captain N and the Game Masters wasn't actually a game. It was a cartoon based on various Nintendo properties. This high school age kid gets sucked into his Nintendo, and his belt buckle was an NES controller that he could actually do things like input the Konami code or make himself jump extra high by hitting A on the controller. And his weapon of choice was the orange Zapper light gun, was how he defeated enemies. And he tooled around with a frog-voiced Mega Man, an incredibly vain, I want to say Simon belt.
Yeah, and then one of the evil villains was the eggplant and Mother Brain.
And King Hippo.
Yeah, Mother Brain too.
Mother Brain's voice, holy shit. Caleb, I cannot recommend enough that you go find at least a promo for this show. It was bananas. I loved it.
Yeah, you could find a bunch of it on
Kid
YouTube.
Icarus was another one.
Yep, Kid Icarus. Yeah, this was a great cartoon.
It was. I loved that show, and it was part of why I loved that Zapper so much. Okay, so now that I've sidetracked us a shit ton enough, let me, what was it, number 3?
Yeah, number 3.
So, based on the fact that you guys are jumping all over the place, I actually feel kind of bad about my decisions in my list, but I don't regret them because I chose them wholly based on what I personally felt were the best looking controllers that I'd ever personally come in contact with. My number 3 is also an Xbox One controller, but it was the Gears of War 4 Crimson Omen edition. I am a sucker for a good dark red and black color scheme, and yeah, I love that controller. I came so close to buying that system, but at the time my day one edition was still functional, so I couldn't justify it. So I never did scoop that one up, and it made me sad, but I love that console, and that controller is gorgeous.
I see. Yeah, that is a very nice dark red.
Yeah. And I mean, there's not really anything to say about it that I didn't already say with the Phantom Black, or that we didn't cover by virtue of the similarities to the Xbox One and the DualSense and all that, you know what I mean? So
yeah. Now, question on the kind of limited edition or, heavily aesthetic Xbox controllers. I always see them with like the stand that matches or a similar stand. Do they come with that in the box? So you can like display them. I always see a lot of the tech YouTubers that I watch. They have an ungodly amount of controllers that Xbox sends them to undoubtedly just sit in the background of their pictures. But I don't know if does it come with those stands or.
I think you can get them regularly bundled together. So like if you buy the controller just by itself, I think you can get it like separate from the system by itself. I mean, I believe you can get it with the stand. But as far as like pack-ins with the system, I don't believe they come with them normally. And I actually have never bought a controller that's come with it either. And while I was saying all that, I actually took the time to go do a lookup of an unboxing on YouTube, and it did not come with the controller in the unboxing. So I'm guessing it's got to be like a special bundle you get, or they got to send it to you or something.
Gotcha. Well, Trav, what do you have?
So number 3, and again continuing, none of mine are fancy or custom or any of this stuff, is just stock. But this I consider their best controller they've ever put out as a default pack-in for a console, and is the PS4 controller.
Yeah, just classic DualShock.
Just their standard PS4 controller that came with the system. We talked about before the touchpad on there, the various things that you could do with it. I thought it was a great design. I like that it's wider. Personally, I hated the PS3 controller. I thought it was a piece of crap, and it felt cheap.
They did, didn't they?
I hated that controller. Even going back to it, I implore anyone listening right now to pick up your PS3 controller and try to play a game on it for a little while. You're going to hate it. It's an awful experience. It feels cheap.
Yeah.
Feels like a crappy toy. The 6-axis,
especially the triggers, man.
The triggers are just awful. And that's not saying anything about the console. It's just the controller itself is garbage. And it just... Yeah. To jump from what they did on the 3 to the 4, that was an incredible leap. And the same could be said for the 360 to Xbox One, and I'll talk about that later in my list. Spoiler alert.
Travis, have you played? What was that game for the PS3? PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale with the PS3 with the controller. It really heightens the gameplay on both ends, the controller end and on the actual. Hello, is anybody there? Hello.
Yeah. I had to mute it so I didn't blow anyone's speakers out.
Travis may have exploded. I apologize.
The fucking lock's clapping in game on the screen.
but I do. I just like the DualShock 4. I personally loved that touch pad. I didn't think I would like it. I still to this day use that to do most of my typing. It just seems like a way faster and slightly frustrating because you can't quite get where you want, but I enjoy it more.
I love being able to see your wheel go around as you're trying to react.
I knew that game would come up at some point as a continuous game.
We've been away too long. He had to bring it back up.
You found a way to bring it in, and bravo. Caleb, what you got for number 2?
Number 2, one of the only 2 controllers that I don't have currently on the list, but I've thought about buying it many times for literally no reason. I don't need one. I just want to have it. Is the Berry Blue DualShock 4. Just said we like the DualShocks. Their Berry Blue is this like aqua main body of the controller, and then all of the buttons are this like kind of maroony purple. Oh my gosh, such a freaking cool colorway.
I can't agree with you there.
When I saw it in the stores, I had recently bought an extra one of just like a random color, and I'm like, shoot, I could have bought this one. I was a little upset with myself, but yeah, I really just like the most recent kind of run of colors they put out this last probably time that they put out colors. So that's mine. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
I was amused just now because I couldn't remember which one the Berry Blue one was, so I went to Google, and all I typed in was BER, and Google was like, oh, I know what you're looking for. I'm like, that's a little weird.
Well,
I could have meant so many other things. It's a little bit weird.
Like, isn't that a cereal? Like Berry Blue? Like, or is that Boo Berry?
Well, I mean, Boo Berry was the cereal.
Okay, whatever. It's Berry Blue.
Yeah. So my number 2 is the system is listening. My number 2, said Redbeard, is 100% predicated on my love for the series and how much I felt it fit in with the series. My number 2 was the Skyward Sword Edition Zelda Wiimote. There is, in and of itself, absolutely nothing all that crazy about it. If you've seen a Wiimote, you've seen a Wiimote, you know. But the gold, the Hylian crest on it, the fact that the buttons had that nice crisp clearness to them, like I absolutely loved that controller. My only sadness with that controller is that it did not come with any semblance of a matching nunchuck. It looks good paired with either a white one or a black one, but I would have loved to have seen them pair it with like a silver or a silver and blue nunchuck of some sort to kind of emulate the shield, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that would have been smart. I'm sure you could get a custom skin made.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, you could definitely do that, but that's it. I mean, it was just a really slick controller, I thought. Anytime I actually play a Wii or Wii U game, that's still my controller of choice.
There you go. All right, Travis, number 2.
So number 2 is a controller that I still use to this day. Years ago, I bought an adapter when Smash came out on the Wii U for this particular controller. Fortunately, that adapter works on the Switch for Smash Ultimate, so I can continue to this day using this controller, which potentially, and I went back and forth on this, whether it was my number 1 or my number 2 here. And I went with my number 2 because I've used it specifically only for one particular game, So that's why I made it number 2 instead of number 1. And that is the GameCube controller. And that's it. It's a near perfect controller. It's one that I well, maybe not everyone, but if you have a disposable income and are willing to attempt to break your GameCube controller, I guess encourage you to attempt it, because it would be very difficult to break. They have built it for durability, and that's for sure. Trust me, I've had very many frustrated smash bouts with people more so years ago that I've attempted to smash my own controller.
Well, and even just like the smaller pieces, like I have a lot of friends that are really probably too heavily into the competitive Smash Bros circuit, and when they put out the kind of Smash Bros specific with like the icon in the middle and the 10-foot cable and everything, I know a lot of people from breaking out of holes and everything, from ripping the stick around, they rip that rubber off, but even then, like it lasts such a crazy long time, and they are beating these controllers up.
You should never rip your rubber off.
No.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Unless you're doing number 2.
What?
We're on number 2.
So, the last thing I want to add about the GameCube controller, you mentioned the custom ones. I actually got a custom Smash Ultimate GameCube controller when that came out. My wife got that for me, and it was obviously so awesome to have that controller, one of my favorites, with a custom, graphic on it for possibly, I believe, did we pick that as the best Switch game? I can't remember now. I think I did. I want to say I did.
It was up there.
I'm looking at my list now, and yes, I did. So there you go. There you have it.
Yeah. And quick note for people who don't know, that adapter that you're talking about, on the Wii version or the Wii U, you had to have it had the 2 USB plug-ins.
Yes.
It would work on the Switch with just one, because my cats peed all over the other USB switch, and I plugged in the one on it, and it works.
Really?
Perfectly. Yeah, so I use that also when we're the very few times that I've had enough people to play with that many controllers.
I'm more intrigued that your cat targeted that particular USB.
Yeah, I'm really happy that it only got one.
I mean, are those things still hard to find? Because they were only $20, but they were.
Yeah, I think they are really hard to find now.
Are they?
But maybe not now, but like shortly before and a little bit after Ultimate was released, when people were looking for them, I think they were very hard to get a hand on it.
Huh.
No, they're $15 Best Buy right now.
Yeah, there you go. So if you're looking for one, I highly recommend it, because the best way to play Smash
that's the
is
Nyko
with the
one, though.
GameCube
Like,
controller.
that's not the Nintendo one.
Yeah, as long as
there's
it
also a
works.
couple other ways. I had bought something, if you have ever looked into retro gaming controllers, like Bluetooth ones, 8-Bit Do or 8-Bit Do is a great company. And they actually make a battery-powered module that you can plug in a GameCube into on one side, or you can plug in the Wii GameCube version that would plug into a nunchuck on the other side. And so you could use any of your current controllers, whether they be GameCube or Wii version of GameCube, and use them wirelessly through this little adapter.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, they're available on Amazon for $64.
Woo!
Yeah, that sounds more like it.
Yeah, no, it was the Nyko one was the one that I saw first, so that's my bad.
Gotcha. I mean, if it works, it works, but...
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to say that I got one. I'm also happy to say it works on PC.
Yes.
If you ever wanted to use your GameCube controllers on a PC for some reason.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Good to know.
Yeah.
I suppose all it is just a driver that's needed, and boom.
Yep. Unlike the DualShock 3, it was pretty much as simple as plug it in and it worked.
Nice.
Yeah. I have a USB N64 adapter that I have not tried. I got it for schmemulating games.
I completely skipped over the adapters and just cheaped out and bought the like $15 USB version of NES, SNES, Genesis, and then 64 controllers.
Nice.
Yeah, you brought them over early on in the weekly dosage.
And then we never used them.
No, no, we didn't. We used the PS4 controller.
All right.
Yeah.
Are we ready for my number 1?
Yes, give it to me.
Okay. So probably surprisingly, my number 1 controller is an Xbox One controller. It is the Lunar Gold, or Lunar White, whatever it's called. I think it might have been White. Lunar White controller. I
Once
had
again, LUN.
I had an Xbox for like maybe a year and a half to 2, less than 2.5 years probably, and for no reason I just needed this controller because it looked so beautiful, such a clean and clear look, all white design, gold D-pad, gold triggers, everything else is black. Man, just really really love this controller. It also had that texture on the kind of backhand part of the handles, so you had a little more grippy texture to it. Absolutely love that controller.
You know, I'm not normally a fan of, well, white on any part of my electronics, really, but that is a pretty slick-looking controller, to be honest.
Thank you.
It's a goodie.
What do you got for your number one?
Are you ready to be absolutely shocked and floored?
Yeah.
It is also an Xbox One controller. It is the Phantom Magenta.
Oh yes, I love that one.
That anything clear, right? It looks so cool. Looks so.
You know, normally I don't like it. Normally I do not like clear on controllers, and I got a lot of shit for that because so many of everyone's favorite PS2 controllers were those clear ones. And I'm like, I just don't like it. I don't know why. I don't mind it on the original Switch Pro controller, but in general, I don't usually like it. But I think it looks absolutely amazing on both the Phantom Black and the Phantom Magenta. That Phantom Magenta Phantom Magenta controller is absolutely dope as shit.
We got some chat here mentioning the NES controller being the Nokia of controllers. There's Trevor says the only thing Xbox One beats PS4 at is the controller. So as we mentioned, the DualSense definitely resembles an Xbox One controller. So it's very
it
clear.
borrows real heavily from it.
It's very clear what people find appealing. And with that, I'll say my number one is as well as an Xbox One controller. It improved upon everything that was wrong with the 360 controller. The grips are much better, a better plastic or a rubber grip, if you will. The D-pad itself, triggers are better. The rumble feature in the triggers themselves is just such a better controller. And the only thing that they needed to improve to make it even better was making it rechargeable, which they are not for the Series X, unfortunately, because they want you to buy the Elite controller, which if it wasn't $180, I would consider it, because that thing looks even better than the Xbox One controller. I've never had my hands on one, though, so I can't say for certain.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of pictures of it, and I'm definitely intrigued to hold one, but I'm definitely not willing to pay that kind of money for one.
No, $180 is extreme for a controller. The most I would pay is doing the Xbox, what is it, the Lab, or whatever you want, their custom thing.
Oh, where you can completely make your own?
Yeah, and that's like $79 with engraving. That would be like, yes, cool Christmas gift or something, you know, but that's it.
Yeah, while we're on the topic of like expensive controllers, what are your guys' thoughts of like the scuff gaming, like the other companies who basically mod those controllers and, you know, beef them up and have extremely high prices as well that aren't like direct manufacturers?
I mean, if this is your job, like you're a pro gamer and you're playing competitive circuits and you want to stand out and maybe have sponsors or things, sure, by all means, I'm not going to judge you. But personally, as I consider myself not even a hardcore gamer, I'm a casual gamer. I'm an enthusiast or hobbyist of gaming. I don't consider myself pro at anything I play. I just love games. I love talking the industry. You know, I wouldn't support that. But that's, again, me. But for pro gamers out there, by all means, go for it. Do it. You know, get sponsored up. Get a modded controller or whatever you need.
Yeah, I agree, and like I said, like you said, it would have to be like your job, like the investing. It would be an investment at that point.
I don't know that I necessarily would go so far as to say personally that it would have to be like a job level investment, because I do feel a lot of times like controllers especially can be a get what you pay for situation, you know. I mean, look at Mad Catz, they were like $8, but they lasted about $8 worth of controller use. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And that's one thing I've heard a lot of about these scuff controllers is that they're super not just highly responsive and precise, but they're super durable too, is what I'm told. But that being said, just like with the Elite controller, I could never justify the purchase myself. Largely in part because I'm just not that kind of rough on my controllers.
Right. That
So
was
I mean,
something-
I can.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I can see absolutely the argument for spend pro money on a pro controller. You know what I mean? But the other thing is, if you're that kind of rough, maybe it's worth spending the money just for preventative maintenance, if you will, not having to keep buying controllers over the life of your system.
And I'm generally really good with my controllers. The only thing I noticed was having 360 controllers, the rubber grips wear out on the joysticks, the analog sticks.
Rubber came off.
Yeah, my rubber came off. They did. But I mean, that was my main console during that generation, so it's understandable why it could have, but it shouldn't have. And I found something really surprising. So I was fortunate enough, maybe unfortunate, depending on how you view this. I was working at that GameStop retailer during the launch of both the Xbox One and PS4. And I want to say throughout that holiday season, because they were both in November, I want to say December, January, we were getting returns on defective controllers. They weren't really defective, but the people that were bringing them in, the rubber grip on the PS4 controllers, those things were worn down to the plastic. And we're talking within 30, 45 days of use of these things. I have had
they
the
did
same...
not last long.
Well, no,
originally.
that's I consider that BS. I've had my PlayStation controllers for 6.5 years now. They are not worn down like that. And I play weekly, at least on my PS4. Weekly.
So you don't play strongly.
Apparently not. I just want to know what games they were playing. It was probably that, what was that one really crappy game that you guys liked?
It exists on the PS4, but
It did on the PS4. It was that that dude that fell apart. You could
Knack?
Knack. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were probably playing Knack.
yeah, that's a hardcore, hardcore.
No, honestly, I don't know. Like the people that were coming in, I know they were gamers that would probably be playing NBA, or they would be playing COD. But even
Fight Night was real hard on the sticks too.
Yeah. But on the that wasn't PS4.
Could have been like
Fight Night Champion?
Madden.
Champion, no, that
Madden,
was
like,
PS3.
left to ram the sticks, for big hits and stuff.
Oh, that was PS3.
Yeah, I thought that blew my mind back then. I was like, what are you guys doing to wear these down? Because I haven't seen anything since. And again, that's the biggest thing that I find so great about the Xbox One controller is grips. And not the grips, but the sticks are much better.
Yeah.
You guys is like Game Freak, like stick attachments.
I bought those
Ah,
for the 360 because I had worn mine down, and those were fine. They were like $4.
yeah, they were fine if you needed them, but I didn't care for them otherwise. I will say I definitely bought I don't remember what brand they were, but the trigger replacement add-on clip thingies for the PS3.
Yeah, I should have done that. I probably would have
Yeah, I
found it
bought
more enjoyable.
so many of those. I hated the triggers on the DualShock 3. DualShock 4 was a gigantic improvement in that arena.
Yeah.
That's
those
why
are
I
bad.
played shooters though on the 360, and I think most of the people did.
Yeah, well, and that was the thing. Like, even trying to play GTA on my PS3, I hated, because I, just by nature of the way I hold the controller, I kept pinching my finger every time I tried to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, our
Well,
second half, we have let's judge
Top
things.
5 consoles.
Yeah, let's talk about our consoles, and we're judging things by look. My assumption already going into this, you guys are going to bring into play the custom consoles, for example, like the Star Wars 360 or things like that, the Gears ones. I'm solely basing mine again on stock, the American release stock of these consoles. Caleb, let's continue the rotation. What you got for number 5?
Yeah, my rotation for number 5. I'm going with the N64 Funtastic Grape Purple.
Ooh.
I loved the whole
Interesting
line.
choice.
we had just a classic kind of black N64, but I remember when the color ones were hitting the scene, and it's nothing that we ever bought ourselves. It was always a Christmas present from big guy, and so we weren't upset because we didn't get a cool color looking one, but man, I would stand there in the video game aisle, I was just looking up at it. I'm thinking, wow, that's such a cool looking system. I really like those.
That's bold.
Rob, what do you got?
So, Travis, you were 100% correct. Every single one of my systems is some kind of special.
I figured.
My number 5 pick, though, is actually the closest to stock of any of them. And for a reason I feel like Caleb will probably appreciate pretty much. My number 5 was the Nintendo Wii U Wind Waker HD Edition console.
Yes.
Yeah, that had the custom gamepad.
Yep.
Yeah, that is very close. It just has like little artwork on it. Otherwise, it's pretty stock.
The console itself, I think, was 100% stock, but the gamepad, which I argue for the Wii U, is 50% of the console.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, it had that really nice
Switch beta.
Basically, yeah.
It is.
It had that really nice gold Hylian trim around it, but it was very simple, very straightforward. Wasn't overpowering or gaudy. I really enjoyed it a lot. Love that system.
I was going to buy that one, but right around the time I was ready to afford a Wii U, finally, they were releasing Mario Kart 8, and they did the Mario system with it. Basically, it's just a black 32 gig Wii U console with a copy of Mario Kart, as well as a red Wii U controller.
Nice.
With Mario print on it. You could buy those separately. They had the Mario, Luigi, Peach, and I think Yoshi. You could buy those by themselves, but
wait,
the
Wii U controller?
The Wii,
like the Pro controller or the gamepad?
No, like the Wii, like the
emote.
Do you mean the Wii remote?
Yeah, Wii
oh, okay.
remote. Sorry, I guess I should be more specific. But it came with a red one of the Wii U.
Yeah, no,
Wii
I thought
remote.
I was going crazy. I was like, shit, did I miss a custom gamepad?
No. That was the only.
No,
thing
I have all those Wii remotes: the Mario, Luigi, Peach, and I think I got a fourth one. I don't remember who the fourth one was, though.
I'm not surprised.
They were awesome. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but it doesn't shock me at all that you've collected something.
Hey, listen!
I feel like I've run out of surprises for you guys.
No, you probably got something that I'd be surprised about. I don't know what.
Trav, what is your
Mine,
your number 5?
My number 5, you're going to notice a theme with what I like as far as style on my consoles. I'm going to kick things off on my number 5 being the NES, so the original Nintendo Entertainment System. Or the, what do they call that one? Somebody give me a nickname.
Oh,
Trav.
Nobody.
Nobody.
Say Trav.
Yeah.
Not a nickname for me. Never mind. Move on. Caleb 4.
I don't remember any of the nicknames for that thing. I remember when they released the top loader versions, people would call them things like toasters, but I don't remember any of the nicknames for the classic system.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just like that system a lot.
Raven Knight said the gray brick.
The
I don't think that was one of them, but it's not wrong.
The thing about the style of that system with the stripe, you know that anywhere. If that layout, the mostly gray and then the black stripe and then the I don't want to say brick pattern, but how do you describe it?
Lattice pattern?
Thank you. That's probably better. If that was just printed on a piece of paper, you'd be like, that's the NES.
Oh yeah, that is extremely identifiable.
Definitely probably the most used aesthetic, probably skin across other gaming consoles, regardless of brand. Everyone wants to make their Xbox or their PS4 look like an NES. Like, it's just so cool and fun looking to do.
And I loved when they put that on the Game Boy Advance, if you remember that one.
Yes.
That one
and
was...
they made a 3DS that looked like it. Oh, I was so upset I didn't have that one.
Same.
I'm still mad I missed that one.
Same.
All right, what are we on? Oh, my number 4.
Yeah.
A little bit bitter because one other person on this podcast has this console, or had it, I believe, is the PS4 Destiny the Taken King console.
I did have that. It broke on me.
I know. I did. I had a voodoo doll of your console back here. I was stabbing it until it broke.
It pissed me off because it was one of those issues with the launch model of the console, and all the difference was with this particular one, it was glacier white with that Destiny design, because I got it for that with that game bundle or whatever. It would eject discs when it got hot. There was the spacer rubber insert where the button was that would just randomly start ejecting discs.
Yeah, because it was haptic. It wasn't a physical push button, so the heat would heat the button up enough to make it go, right?
Right. Yeah, and I hate that. I want a push button on mine. I didn't like the day one edition of the Xbox because of that.
Yeah.
Just give me a button.
Yeah. I thought that was a really cool looking console, and I was always a little bit bitter that someone else had it and I didn't. So
hey,
whatever. Next.
You could have it. It was broken, but I sold it and I got a Pro out of it. So I'm not mad. I was mad at the time because I really liked that white controller. But I had to trade in a controller.
I mean, that was just the plain glacier white controller, though, wasn't it?
It was, and I can get a new one, but I haven't since. But man,
I think I actually have that white one, and then my dad died.
I don't know. I have a blue controller and a black one for my PS4, and I'm okay with that because she likes blue, I like black. So.
I'm not going to talk about how many controllers I have.
Yeah. All right, Rob. But do talk about your number, whatever we're on.
4.
At number 4, which, I mean, I guess technically I am about to talk about what controllers I have, because my number 4 is actually my current daily driver for consoles, is my PS4 Pro God of War Edition. Caleb is floored.
I am on it.
For those of you who don't know what it looks like, this is a great opportunity for us to pimp the channel and say, go check out, we did an unboxing of that console and a special edition of the game on the Weekly Dosage. But I really like the console. It was so long ago. The controller actually was one of my favorite parts of it, though. It has the God of War PS4 logo on the touchpad. It's got the Brothers emblem on the handle of the controller. The console itself has the runes across the front strip, and it's actually got a constellation looking layout of the axe across the top. I really, really enjoyed it. Super glad I picked it up.
I was glad that I got to be a part of seeing that unboxed and seeing it so close. That was a really cool one. Speaking of things, if you like unboxing, we got a bunch of videos on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/doseofnerdacumen, and then a big shout out to an upcoming episode that we're going to be doing once everything goes back to normal this September, if everything goes well with the release, because who knows when games are coming out now. I believe both of us, Caleb maybe, I don't know, but at least Rob and I are getting the Super Ultimate Mega Avengers Assemble edition of that particular game. Comes with so much stuff. And I geeked out once I got the go-ahead to pull the trigger on buying that. Because
super hyped for that.
Yeah, and supposedly that's this September, but who knows right now with everything going on. So
yeah, we'll see.
But either way, that's going to happen at some point once things go back to normal.
So what's your number 4? What do you got?
Is going with my design. Should come as no surprise. Another Nintendo console here. It's the GameCube.
So classic.
It is, dude. It's an adorable system. Looking at it's got a handle.
It's just cute.
So perfect. I agree.
A handle on it. You could carry it to your friends, which I never did. Why would you? But it's just such a
because everyone had one.
It is what it says it is. It's a gaming console that's a square. It's a cube. It's a GameCube. Okay, that's genius. It used those mini discs, the proprietary ones for them. It was just a cool console. It had, again, I could dive into the console itself, why it was so awesome, but aesthetically pleasing on the eye is what we're going here, and visually I loved it. It was adorable.
I was always a fan of just the small discs. It was always just so cool to me that we got these really small mini discs to use, that you couldn't get confused, with other things. And I don't know. I was really I miss my GameCube.
I do too. It was probably the one I regret selling the most, because a lot of the other ones I can now get through emulation, or the classics or these minis that have been coming out have been replacing consoles that have sold over the years. So I don't feel as terrible as I once did. But the GameCube, I still have all my games and controllers. I just don't have the console anymore because I traded that in for the Wii when that came out. And the GameCube is one that I miss the most.
All right, so on to me.
Yes.
Number 3.
Number three is another PS4. It is going to be the 500 million edition. When they sold 500 million PlayStations, they came out with a super cool looking PS4 Pro. It's this like dark blue, kind of see-through, very, very faint because of how dark it is, with this like kind of gold hue on the accent colors.
Oh, yeah.
Huge fan of this. Everything that came with it, they did a kit with the camera and the controller. It's just a pretty subtle look. And man, I was just a huge fan of this console. I watched tons of unboxing videos of it when it came out, just kind of wishing and hoping that something would happen where I could get one, but just not possible because they only made so many.
Question.
Yeah.
You said 500 million. Is that units sold through all 4 systems then?
I believe so.
Okay.
I was trying to read up. Yeah.
'Cause I didn't think that PS4 killed Xbox One that much.
No, it's just to commemorate PlayStation selling 500 million systems. PlayStation systems.
Okay, that makes sense. But damn, they've had a successful run.
AKA, it's a thank you letter to the PS2.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, that one. I still think that holds the most units sold.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Everybody
like
wanted a
the Wii.
DVD player.
Yeah, that was the big reason. And the PS3's big moving was because of the Blu-ray players.
Blu-ray.
So.
Yep.
I sold my family on that one. It's a Blu-ray player. Come on, let me get it.
It's $600 for a game system and a Blu-ray instead of $1,200 for just Blu-ray. Come on.
Yeah, my selling point was that I finally got like a nice TV. I wanted a Blu-ray player, and I wanted to play both Uncharted and Little Big Planet. So I was like, okay, it's time.
Easy.
And then Metal Gear.
It's also time for Rob's pick.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have a parting note on your number 3. Once again, this is one of those rare occasions. As I mentioned earlier, I don't really like see-through, but it looks really, really classy on that 500 million.
Yeah,
It's real slick. But Trav, I think you'll especially appreciate my number 3. It is also a Nintendo console, one that we've already mentioned in the list. My number 3 is the Game Boy Advance SP Classic NES Edition.
That's such a good one.
Yes.
It is. I chose that one over the 3DS because it more closely resembled the original system.
Yep.
And it's really the only difference. You know what I mean? The 3DS is wider by far because, of course, and the GBA was just a little foldy square. It just reminded me so much of the NES, and I love that pattern. It looks great on both. But that's it. That's my number 3.
Console, not that version, but this console would easily make... I should have put it up in the other ones, but if we were doing handheld, it would make my top 2 or 3 easily.
Oh, yeah, no question.
So much.
Like I said, man, iconic. The design, forever. My number 3, sticking with my Nintendo support here. Surprise, surprise, I'm a Nintendo fanboy. The Wii. The white base model Wii. That rectangle, so clean, with its little doors that you could open up. Depending on if you had the early console, the later ones did not have the ports for the GameCube controller or memory cards. But that launch model 1, that thing just screamed future in its design. It was clean looking. It looked like just a disk drive that you could just plop in your shelf, you know?
Yeah. I personally preferred the black one, but I'm with you on the generality of the console for sure.
Yeah, I absolutely loved the Wii. It's one that I had bought used off a friend, I think. No, that can't be right. I don't know. But that is where the gap in my gaming career kind of started. Is I don't even consider myself having gamed on the Wii very much because we just played a lot of family games. And I think I did the first Mario Galaxy. But other than that, like I didn't play anything until the PS3 Super Slim with Assassin's Creed 3 came out. So that was kind of like a iconic console for me because it was, I didn't do anything much after they came out. So I loved the Wii.
Yeah, we did a lot. We had 2 Wiis because she had got one for Christmas when it launched, and then I searched around for one because they were hard to find. And I searched around for one for myself, and then we moved in together, and we had 2. We ended up getting rid of one of them because I think we had bought a DS around the time. I don't remember what we traded in for. But we played that console a lot. Like, there are a lot of memories from it, and it's still one I have today. It's up in my bedroom now. And it's funny that they were hard to find, and then they were practically, when I was working at GameStop in 2013, I mean, they were practically giving away for free. They were on sale for $10 all the time.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how something so in demand was like, here, just take this thing at the end.
Yeah.
They're
What if the Switch is going to wind up like that?
You think so?
I'm saying I wonder.
I don't think so.
I mean, the Wii U didn't end up like that, but nobody wanted it in the first place.
That's true. I consider the Wii U just a proof of concept console.
It was a great
nobody
console,
bought the Wii U.
though.
I agree. I loved it. We still have it. We're not going to get rid of it. It's something that we thoroughly enjoy. The idea that I could be playing on the big screen and then all of a sudden, for most games or tons of games, pick up and just play in my seat. How freaking cool is that? It's amazing.
And like you said, it prototyped what was to come, and man, talk about success. You hit a home run there.
Absolutely. All right. I guess speaking of home runs, I'll try and hit one here with my number 2.
Yes.
All right, number 2. N64 Pokemon Stadium Battle Set.
I remember that thing.
Such a cool looking console. Didn't have it. We played the mess out of Pokemon Stadium, though, especially with the ability to kind of, correct me if I'm wrong, you could get the adapter and input your GameCube cartridge into the game to use your actual Pokemon. Some of them, is that true? You may remember.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
Game Boy, not GameCube, but yes.
Sorry, Game Boy, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I absolutely loved that. Thank you very much. Absolutely loved that game. And that's a console that to me was just so cool looking because Pokemon Stadium is, I don't know, an iconic game in my life, I think.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right. Trav?
So, on to number 2.
Dang it.
All right.
We're just skipping Rob. Screw you, Rob.
That's so rude. So my number 2, the Xbox One X Project Scorpio Edition.
Oh, yes.
Something else we've mentioned earlier. I think it's a gorgeous console. I like the fade. I like the texture on it. As a Scorpio, that struck me in a special way. I really enjoyed that. I like the controller. There's just nothing about it that I don't like. I loved the Project Scorpio Edition. It's a good system.
Hell yeah.
Now, I think I've seen a couple of teardowns, and I think something cool to me is that I think on the motherboard there's like a scorpion engraved on the motherboard of that console.
Master Chief.
I don't... You said it's Master Chief?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I know there's something on it. Yeah, there is a scorpion.
Yeah, so
on it as well.
That was a cool small little touch that no one would probably ever know if no one broke it down.
But Travis was also right. It's Master Chief riding a scorpion.
There you go. Even cooler.
Yeah.
Shout out. God, I can't
So there
wait.
you go.
Oh, man. Like, I don't look forward to a lot of games, but I really hope that Halo Infinite does not get delayed.
Nah, it's been done for like 6 months. You'll be fine.
I hope so.
So what's your number 2, Trav?
Sticking with my design here, but moving away from Nintendo.
Whoa.
I know.
Hold on.
I know. Get your reaction ready.
Ah! Okay.
Oh. Too early. The PS2.
Wow.
I get a wow. So you'll notice something
The original,
about,
like the VCR?
like the VCR. So let's go through my list real quick. The NES, basic, rectangular. The GameCube, boxy. The Wii, rectangular, basic. The PS2, a little edgy, but basic. You'll notice a theme here of what I like in my console styles.
Yeah.
Clean
I think we
cut,
can
clean
extrapolate
design.
what your number one's gonna be.
I'll let you take a guess before it's my turn for number one. But yes, PS2. Something about that dark colored, going away from that iconic gray or silver, with that deep, like almost, I don't want to say neon, but piercing blue for the logo.
Yeah.
And then the logo, a lot of people don't know this on the disc tray when that comes out. Depending on if you're standing your system up straight or laying it on its side, you can actually turn the PlayStation logo on the front of that disc drive to match whether it's vertical or on its side.
Just recently knew that.
Yeah, I
It blows
always
my
thought that
mind
was
how
cool.
many people didn't know that. I knew that for so long. I just thought that was
Yeah, I thought it
totally
was general
common
knowledge. Yeah. But yeah, there's something about that system, and I really liked it. I thought it was a nice venture away from what the PS1 looked like. It made the PS1 look cheap because it had a
Yeah.
disc drive that popped out. It looked expensive, and it was when it came out,
Very
Yeah.
but it was worth every penny at that time. And still to this day, I think it's obviously clearly one of my favorite looking consoles. Go ahead, Caleb.
All right. My number one is very special and dear to my heart. Travis had the pleasure of experiencing the joy that was to come when I learned that it would be mine. It would be a PS4 that smelled like ground beef. It would be a gold Taco Bell PS4. Man, I was so happy and freaking out when I won that thing. I quickly sold my other one and upgraded it to an Xbox, waiting for my gold one to come in. Still have it to this day. I probably will never get rid of it. I've cycled through many controllers, but I've kept my gold one. You can now buy a gold controller, but it's not the same because the one you can buy is all gold, whereas mine is gold on the top only. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it. It's got a couple small features like on the different textures of the two different sides of the PS4. There's two different sides. One's kind of this like scratched kind of gold, the one's just kind of like a matte gold, and I don't know. So happy, so crazy that I won it. I couldn't believe it. And it'll be something I'd probably hang on my wall one day.
Dude, I was so happy that night that you had won too, because for one thing, it proved something to me that evening, that people do win those contests. I thought it was
Because
all...
I've never met I've never met anyone that's done it.
Exactly, I've never seen that happen. I'm like, oh, it's just bullshit to get me to buy a taco, which I wasn't mad about, because as of right now, as we speak, I haven't had Taco Bell in a while, and I'm missing it. I know I could still get it, but obviously I'm not taking any unnecessary risks right now.
Yeah.
But man, it's one of those moments in life. It's like, man, I'm glad we hung out that night, because I think we were just playing Minecraft and just like a general hangout session, nothing significant. But it ended up turning into such a significant moment just from a casual hangout. So it was cool to be a part of that with you.
I have my little. I have the card somewhere, but I have a picture of the card. My PlayStation, in case anybody's curious, is number 1684 out of 6500. So really not that many consoles.
No.
So to have such all run and have one of them is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, that's so cool, man.
Yeah.
All right, your turn, Rob.
All right. In a move that should absolutely shock and amaze everyone, my number one console is actually one that was mentioned right at the top of the podcast, actually. Number one favorite aesthetic console of all time was the Xbox 360S R2-D2 Star Wars Edition.
I use that as an example. That's so funny.
Yeah. No, that one, one of the reasons I love that one so much is actually the same thing that you mentioned, the Scorpio Edition. That particular Xbox 360 is the only variant that had anything written on the disc tray.
Mm-hmm.
Written on the inside of the disc tray, it says, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope."
Oh, so cool. Someone traded one in while I was working at GameStop, and I'm still mad to this day that I did not snag it.
I'm mad at you now, too.
I didn't have the money because I was working at GameStop.
Gotta sell that blood, son.
No offense, but
no,
man, y'all need to pay your employees more.
Yeah, no, lots of offense. Come on. No, it is. It's a gorgeous console. It's cool because it's got that unique feature on the disc tray. Another really unique feature about it was the fact that the power and eject buttons made R2-D2 beeps instead of the traditional Xbox beeps.
It was so
The light on it
cool.
was blue instead of green. The controller it came with was gold, and the trim, instead of being plain black, had the wires to emulate C-3PO. Like, and the Kinect that it came with was quote-unquote Stormtrooper white.
Yep. That was such a cool console. And again, I kick myself every day for not being able to get that.
The minute they announced that thing, I pre-ordered it. I was like, I need this.
Yeah. Oh well.
So that's
cool.
my number one.
Dang.
So Rob, since you're feeling so confident, I want both of you to attempt to guess my number one.
I mean, based on what you've said so far, what's in the list and what's not in the list, I would have guessed the Xbox One, but specifically the One S.
I'm gonna go with the Xbox One Day One edition.
Okay. So, I've had the privilege of owning the Xbox Day One edition. I really loved that when it came out. But they made it better visually with the One S, and I do like mine, the mostly white and then like the black bottom and the black disc drive. I think it's a really cool looking console. But then they upped it again. The One X Project Scorpio is a beautiful console and is my number one.
Right on.
There we go.
Obviously, I can't argue with that decision, considering my number two.
Right. And,
I only even went for the S over the X because the S was a little bit slimmer in some ways.
It is
a little bit more boxy by comparison.
It is, and again, I like the styling of it. If I had I don't even know if there is a black model of it. There may be.
I think so.
But I don't know. What is happening to your character? You just had stars falling from you.
It's the mistaken.
Oh,
yeah.
But yeah, thanks to this channel and this great community, I was able to actually get the S model, and it's what we run 2K on every week. So it's thanks to that show and the support of the community that I have that, and I have all three of the main models of the Xbox. I believe it's the console that I own the most and still have in possession of currently. I don't think I have more than one of anything else right now. And I currently have three. I have two in my house, one up in the living room. That's the One X. I have the One S down here, and then at camp I have the Day One edition, so we can watch movies.
Right on.
But yeah, that wraps up our top 5 controllers and top 5 system based on aesthetic solely. We could have a whole different conversation, and I feel it would get more heated in regards to best consoles, because personally the best console out there is the custom PS3 PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale Edition.
Absolutely. Someone record it. Someone get that. Make that
That's the alert.
Soundbite.
Yeah. But if you've enjoyed our podcast, you can subscribe, follow us on any of the Let's try it again.
And
It's
good
been-
night.
It's been a minute, okay? You can follow us on any of the major podcast platforms out there. Give us a follow, and if you feel inclined, leave us a review, because I'm told that helps us get noticed more. And ultimately, that's not our goal, but maybe we'd love to entertain. It's not our goal, but if we can entertain more ears, that'd be great. Ultimately, we're not trying to make a career out of this. If that happened, fantastic. If it doesn't, I'm not heartbroken. I can't say the same for you guys, or I could say the same. I don't know. It's never been my motivation. My motivation was to bring people together with common interests and have a good time and make friends, and I feel we've achieved that and then some. So again, we continue to do this for the community, and honestly, I just love chatting with both you guys, and I'm glad we're back together here, especially during these, as mentioned at the beginning of the show, very difficult times for some, if not a lot of people out there, and hopefully we can find a great place for you to escape, even if it is for an hour and a half with us like this.
Yeah. I agree with all of that.
So
Same.
normally we'd have like a what you doing or what's going on, but again, uncommon, or I guess very common for us. We talk a lot, and it's been an already long episode. So I'm gonna give you one guess.
If I don't get the switch to my wife in the next 20 minutes, I'm gonna get murdered.
Exactly. So I'm going to give you one guess of what we've all been up to lately, and it's on your screen right now if you're watching visually, because we have all been putting some time into this game. I know, what a shock. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been The Dosage, episode 108. And again, we appreciate each and every one of you out there. Be safe. I hope the best for all of you. And feel free to check out our weekly content. Every Thursday night, we have NAW. Every single Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We archive all of our content to youtube.com/Dose of Nerd Acumen. You're getting axed, Locke.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know. He's doing that right now. So that'll be happening. We also have an incentive show that we've been doing. 5 episodes now. It's incredible. So every increment of donations, we have a show called ASS. And what that stands for is Andrew Lana Scared Stiff. She plays a horror game for you for an hour, and she gets scared stiff. It's quite entertaining to watch because I know my wife hates horror, so I'm a terrible person. But so are each and every one of you for donating to make that happen. So shame. But thank you. Besides that, we have Not So Silent Bob. Huge shout out to his hard work in recent weeks. He's been streaming for us on most Mondays, random games, roguelike games, and I've found a bunch rather entertaining so far. I even got one recently that he played, Dead Cells. Fortunate enough to have that on Game Pass. So I'm excited.
Samesies.
Yep, excited to dive deeper into that, and he turned me onto it because I honestly probably would have skipped over it. So it's things like that, and Locke doing the, what is it, Jackbox stuff. I was going to say you don't know Jack, but that's kind of different.
That is one of the games.
And then speaking of that, Drawful 2 right now on multiple platforms is on sale for super cheap. I picked it up for 9 pennies on the Switch.
Wow.
So Drawful 2, 9 pennies right now for the next 2 days on the Switch. So pick it up.
Nice. It is actually free on a couple of platforms on PC.
Yes. So like I said, it's cheap or free out there. 9 pennies. I'm sure some of you have 9 pennies from redeeming your games from purchasing them. You could just use your coins or whatever. Your points. It's worth it, and it might be something that we do here in the near future for a stream. And we may or may not be doing the lunchtime stuff. It's not really trending well, but who knows, right? All I know is we're going to continue to try to put out the best content and be as active and engaging and entertaining with each and every one of you as long as you want to be a part of it with us. So, long-winded thank you is really what sums it up here.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's great to be back.
Yes, and thank you both for being back. This is a nice
thanks for having us.
escape for myself, too, to get out of my head for a minute and talk about the things I love.
Yeah.
So,
It's definitely been a welcome respite.
yes. An upcoming episode, we don't know if we'll be doing this next week or not. We'll, again, keep you updated. But our next episode, we're going to be talking about Marvel movies, most specifically our 9 favorite ones, and it's going to be a battle. What we're going to do is battle each other by making a list together, not separately, together. This is going to be a challenge. So tune in for
be
that.
Prepared for a 5-hour episode that week.
Oh, but there's going to be a time limit. That's the catch.
A 3-hour episode.
It could be. Most likely probably less than 90 minutes. Iron Man 2 for the win? I don't know about that. I guess tune in for episode 109 coming to you soon. Turn those notifications on. And again, thank you. Thank you, Caleb. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, listeners.
Thank you.
We love you. And we'll see you next time.